Welcome everybody who's just joined us. We're just about to start. One thing I wanted to mention is we have an ongoing program. If you're on your mailing list, which I presume you all are, you will see we've got a forthcoming event and presentation on well-being. We've also got one on artificial intelligence. All the details are on our mailing list. I also wanted to bring to your attention this interesting book, which is called Running a Business. This is actually a book for children, older children, and it was written by Joanna Bell from Bell's Accounting, who some of you may know, and her colleague Anna Young. And I'd recommend this anyway. It's quite useful. I've been reading it myself. I've been doing business support for a long time, and there's some things that it reminded me about. So that's very, very well worthwhile, because they've written a series of children's books which are basically about finance and money, because not a lot of children get a lot of education in that area. So I would thoroughly recommend this. This is called Running a Business, and it's produced by Ruby Tuesday Books. So if you want any details of that, please contact me and I will pass them on. But it's, as I say, it's written by Joanna Bell and Anna Young from Bell's Accounting. Okay, I'm now going to pass over to my colleague, Sybil Mayard, to host the rest of the event.
Thank you, Gary. My name is Sybil Mayard, and my background is in web design. I'll go into more details in a second. So thanks everyone for joining us today. And the theme for this webinar is support for women-led businesses. And we have a range of speakers coming on today. Each speaker will talk for about 10 minutes. And then there'll be time for questions at the end of this. So we're going to start with a presentation from myself. So I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Yeah, so my talk is going to be on avoiding the digital overwhelm. So we're surrounded by tools and technologies nowadays, but many of us still find technology overwhelming. So I'm just going to give you some brief tips and advice on how you can use technology to make your life better and simpler. So as I said, my background is in web design. So I design and build websites for small businesses, and I've been doing this since 2020. And since then, I've worked with a wide variety of businesses from different industry sectors, including creatives, so artists, musicians, to wellbeing organizations, some e-commerce businesses, fashion businesses, also those who work in the legal sector, and those who work in technology. So a real mix of different businesses and organizations there. And been working also with CNT on various different projects for about the same amount of time, 5 years now. So our first slide is about email etiquette. So all of us use emails. We probably receive, some of us receive maybe hundreds of emails every day. And it's very easy for our inboxes to become cluttered and full. So here are a few things that you can do to make that easier. There's absolutely no need to respond immediately to an email if someone is contacting you, and if it's very urgent, they will probably phone you anyway. So just take your time. You can make it a habit to check email at specific times during the day. So you might want to check, say, first thing in the morning, maybe again at lunchtime, and then at the end of the day, for example, rather than checking every 5 minutes. You can flag important messages so you can come back to them later on. And so most email tools have a little flag symbol which shows up in red or different color. So that just reminds you to that those emails are important and you need to come back to them at a later time. There is a tool called unroll.me, which you can use to unsubscribe. So we tend to subscribe to lots of newsletters and then we forget about them and then realize that we no longer read or need them anymore. So rather than going through your whole inbox and trying to look for these, you can use a tool called unroll.me. So this connects to your email inbox and then it will show you a list of all the newsletters that you've subscribed to. And then you can easily go through each one and either click unsubscribe or keep. And that's a good way to reduce the amount of newsletters that you're getting and eliminate the ones you no longer need. You can reduce the frequency of newsletters. So if there are some that you want to keep, but you don't want to receive them that frequently, there may be the option to receive them, say, weekly rather than daily or even hourly. So have a look at and see if there's any options so that you don't get unnecessarily a high amount of emails from these newsletters. And then finally, set up your out of office reply. So I think it's a good practice when you're out of your office or on vacation to set up an automatic reply so that the recipient has an idea of when to expect a response back rather than hearing nothing from you. Okay, next is on passwords. So cybersecurity is something that I'm really looking into at the moment. It's a very interesting topic. I can't go through all the details about that now, but wanted to draw your particular attention to passwords. We tend to have so many accounts nowadays online, and it's becoming impossible to remember all the passwords we have. It's not a good idea to reuse the same password across multiple websites or accounts, because if someone did get hold of one password, they can get access to all the accounts that are using that same password. But then the issue is having so many different passwords, how do we keep track of them? It's not possible to remember all. So what you can do is use a tool called a password manager. For example, there's one called LastPass. So password manager is usually a browser extension. This particular one is free and you install it in your browser. So whenever you sign up to a new website, it will save your username and password in there for you. And then the next time when you log in, it can automatically fill in your details. So you won't have to remember all those accounts. Other things that you should do with your passwords is to generate strong passwords using a password generator. So password managers usually include a generator which you can specify the exact requirements. So you can tell it, I want a password that has at least 12 characters. It must contain a symbol or a number, and it will generate a random one based on those options. And the more complex the password is, the more difficult it is for someone to guess it. And also, you should never write down passwords or share them with others. So please try to avoid writing out your passwords on paper or even on emails, on spreadsheets, and don't share your passwords with others. So always, where possible, each person should have their own separate account rather than multiple people sharing one account. So next thing is about simplifying your social media. Social media, very big part of our lives nowadays. One main reason for that is because it's free or low cost. It can be overwhelming trying to manage so many social media accounts for your business. So rather than trying to manage, say, 4 or 5 different social media platforms, I would say stick to 1 or 2, get to know them very well, and focus your efforts just on those 1 or 2 platforms, because it's just going to become unmanageable if you're trying to be on every platform. But even if you're only on 2 platforms, there's things you can do to simplify things. So one thing you can do is to create a content planner. So this could be as simple as a spreadsheet. So you would have, say, the date and time you want to post, which type of content it will be, like whether it's a reel, just an image, a carousel, or something else, and have the content in there, like the caption that you want to put with that post, and hashtags and so on. Is this a good way of planning things out in advance, so you're not having to think on the spot what you're going to post, so everything is already organized. Then once you've got your content in place, you can use a scheduling tool, for example, buffer.com. So I recommended this one because it's particularly generous with the free plan. So you're able to connect several profiles for free, and allows you to schedule, I think, around 10 posts per channel for free. And there are other tools out there as well which are similar. And the scheduling tool allows you to create your posts and then publish them at a later date. So basically it's like a set and forget system. So you create your post, you set what time, date and time you want it to be published, and then it will go out at that time, even if you're not there to do it. And AI is a very useful thing nowadays. I'm sure you've heard of ChatGPT. So you can use this tool to generate ideas for your social posts. One thing I would say with this is, if you're going to use ChatGPT, please make sure that you don't just copy and paste from the tool, but always make sure you read through it first, make some edits, so then it's not so obvious it's been generated by ChatGPT. So the next thing is about having a to-do list and keeping your tasks on track. We have many things that we try to accomplish every day. We don't always have the best way to organize ourselves. One thing I like to use is Trello. So this is a project management tool, but it's very flexible and you can use it in pretty much any way you want. So Trello is a free tool, and you can see an example here of what it might look like. So it's made up of boards, lists, and cards. So one board could correspond to one project, for instance. Inside that board, you would have lists. So, for example, to do, doing, and done lists. Then inside each of those lists, you'd have cards, and each card could correspond to a task that you need to do. Now, I find this extremely helpful. I don't think I could run my business without Trello, if I'm being honest, because every day I have so many tasks and things I need to keep track of, and this really makes it easy for me to see what I need to do every day. And one feature I really like is being able to set a due date for each task. So the way I do it is every evening I would go through the tasks. If I've done them, I'll move them over to the done list. If they're not yet done, I would set a date. And I usually set the date to 7 a.m. The next day, or maybe a few days in advance. So then every morning at 7 o'clock, I would get an email notification with a list of tasks that I need to accomplish for that day. And I find that really, really helpful. And the key here is to be realistic with the number of tasks you aim to complete per day, because there's really no point in trying to set yourself to complete 20, 30 tasks, because it's not going to happen. So keep the list short. The shorter your list is, the better you'll feel and less overwhelmed you will be. And there's a big sense of achievement at the end of the day when you feel you've achieved everything that you intended to. Then we've got making the most of your mobile. So mobile phones are meant to make our lives simpler, but do they really? Not so sure. So there's a few things here that I found are particularly useful for my needs, which you may find useful too. And so one is scanning text. So you may not know this, but your phone might have a feature that is able to recognize text, which is embedded into images. So this can be useful, for example, if you're making notes during a lecture, and then you want to transfer your notes onto your computer, but your notes are handwritten. So what you can do is scan your notes with your phone. It will recognize the text and then transfer that text onto your computer, or you can put it onto an email, for example. I find that very handy. Next, we have dictation. So if, like me, you can speak faster than you type, you can speak your ideas out loud onto your phone, and then your phone will convert that into text. So again, very useful for for note-taking, for ideas, or even writing emails, etc. And lastly, we have airplane mode. So this is probably my favorite productivity tool. So this is great when you need some time to work undisturbed. What I like to do is have a couple of hours in the morning before I start work where I can just work without any interruptions. So if I want no interference at all, I would just put my phone on airplane mode, and that will turn off everything. Or there's also a do not disturb mode. So this is less restrictive. So with do not disturb, it doesn't turn off every notification, but you can customize it to allow, for example, notifications from certain contacts or from certain apps. So it will allow the very important ones, but it will mute everything else. So there you have it. A few tips and tricks to manage your digital life. I hope you found this helpful, and hopefully you'll be implementing some of these into your digital life. So if you would like to get in contact with me, those are my details. So that is the end of my presentation. So we will move on to the next one. Thank you very much. Okay, so just going back to the agenda. So the next speaker will be Zana Aston. So Zana runs multiple businesses, including Emrys Technology and Tech Women for Boards. So Zana will now do her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sybil, and hello all the lovely ladies who have joined the call. I'm going to try to share my screen. I hope I'll be successful. Can you see it? So now I need to find out, sorry, how to make it. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm not familiar with the background of the attendees, so I will do my best to actually tell you a little bit about my journey. And hopefully by doing that, I will bring value to you, maybe open some new ideas, and maybe get some questions that you would like to discuss or challenge me further. But my journey has definitely been interesting so far. I have run my e-commerce business for years while the kids were growing up. And then I went back to corporate world. And from corporate world in the last couple of years, after finishing my executive MBA, which I call midlife crisis because I done it at age 50 plus, I have opened two businesses actually. One which is technology and services, and one which is empowering women in various activities from startups to corporates all the way to the board. And the reason behind is because I have joined various networks. I have worked in various capacities as a startup and the corporate world, and I wanted to join this under the same roof and share the value and bring ladies of a similar energy and the vision into one community. So about myself, I'm, as I mentioned, a business founder. I'm also advisor to people who wants to be an advisory board to smaller to medium companies. I'm an angel investor. Till last year, I sat as a president of a supervisory board. I'm quite a good networker. I belong to various organizations. I think if you put yourself in the variety, oh, my apologies, sorry, you can actually not only learn, but meet people from various aspects of lives. I'm a member of a City Livery Club. I'm advisory board member of Finance and FinTech with IOD. I'm an international speaker. I spoke to on AI and technology, biases in the code, various leadership roles, sustainability, etc., in New York, in London, in Singapore, and on various online events. That leads me to my new venture, which I started approximately 6 months ago, and it's called Tech Women for Boards. This community and this organization would like to offer the value in empowering women, not only through mentorships and potentially involvement in your boards as an advisory member, but also creating a valuable events which will bring sort of some new information, opportunities to network and share, discuss, and also open the platform for our community members to be speakers, mentors, and offer their services, which not only help female founders, but also going through the corporate ladder all the way to the board. I will not bother you with the stats, but we are also connecting female founders with investors. I don't know if you're aware, but only 3% of the venture capital funding so far goes to female startups. So on that note, what we have coming, which you might find useful, is actually online event, which will be addressing the journey of a female founder, successful female founder, and somebody who has been with one of the top tech companies for more than 20 years. And it's going to be mentored by our lovely Lena, committee member. So why am I mentioning that? Because every time we have an event, we are trying to bring something new, as I mentioned, and bring a different value. Here, the way I see it is that sometimes you are your own founder, startup, you struggle, you go back to the corporate world. Sometimes you work in a corporate world and you keep reaching the glass ceiling. At some point you say enough is enough. I want to open my own business. So here are three successful ladies coming from all sort of business life. Pretty as a corporate, Lena as a single owner of the business, and Aruba of leading a small business of couple of people. And it's going to be very interesting to hear their challenges, their opportunities, how they look and approach the growth, etc., etc. Please note down our LinkedIn page and do follow us for any further events. And also, if of interest, have a look at our website and what we have done so far, which events we had, and I'm sure that you will be learning something from it. One of the very popular events that we had back in September, that is on our YouTube page. It's called Personal Branding for the Successful Female Leaders. A lot of ladies might not be aware how personal branding is important. And we try to address that, offering sort of idea how mentoring can come into place, having your personal web page, networking, whom to know and how to utilize whom they know. So on our tab where it says calendar, agenda, and speakers, you can see what we have lined up. In March, we are organizing another event with IOD, which will be about female leaders in finance and sustainability. And April, May time, we are looking to have a face-to-face event, very likely in the Luxembourg embassy, where we are going to talk about what business owners need to have in mind when it comes to legal, IPs, as Sybil mentioned, security, and also go-to-market strategy. What is your short term? What is your medium? And what is your long-term strategy? Which countries are acquiring which elements to have if you want to open your business? And who can help you in that journey. So I think that's going to be one of the interesting events coming up. On that note, we are also, if you are running your own business and you want to look for diverse people to join you, we are offering certain help with hiring. next to the advisory support, mentorship, leadership courses, and the platforms potentially to participate in our events and promote your business and services further. On that note, I would like to also introduce you to my second company, which is all about technology. But next to the supporting big companies and working on a big projects, we also have an area for startups and the smaller businesses, where next to the web design, that it's done by Sybil as our advisor for that, and grant writing applications, which we work closely with Gary. We also offer marketing, people as a service, and outsourcing. So I just wanted to make you aware what is the difference between the outsourcing and people as a service. So people as a service is potentially of interest to companies who want to move into different countries. Here in particular, we are offering a team to be located in Croatia, where I originally come from, and we can accommodate with providing you with various skill sets. We would do the recruitment on your behalf, provide offices and the hardware and everything that you need to say. As a UK company, we also have our team and potentially a sister company in Central Europe. Outsourcing, you're very likely familiar with. As you are growing, you're not necessarily sure how frequently the projects will be coming, and you don't want to put yourself into the situation where you have obligation of employment. So hence you are utilizing capabilities almost like pay-per-click, if I can put it in a simple terms, where we can create I'm lost for the word, where we are offering various skill sets in technology, anything from project management, data migration, creating web mobile platforms and integrating into your current systems, to the latest very, very popular AI, machine learning, and other innovative technology capabilities. So this is about my two businesses. Please do not note it down, the website email addresses. And if you do have any questions, please do come back to me. And yeah, I hope I kind of gave you a little bit of indication what I can help you with and our businesses. This is just to give you a flavor. I hope you can pick up something of interest. And if you do have any questions at the end, I will be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zana, for your insightful presentation. So I'm conscious of time, so we'll be moving quickly on. And the next speaker we have is Dr. Shree. So over to you.
Hello, and very pleased to be joining you all. I hope you've had a lovely morning, and thank you so far for some interesting presentations. Sorry to have joined late. I'm just going to see if I can share my screen. Let's just have a look. So let's just see if I can also then just maximize the screen so you can see everything. Are you seeing my presentation? Fantastic. Okay, so I'm delighted to be here just to introduce myself, but also my company, Herhealthcare. So conscious of time, like everyone, so I'm just going to get cracking. So just to start off with, who am I? Well, I'm a consultant obstetrician and gynecologist, as you can see, but I work for the NHS. I also work in the private sector in hospitals, doing specialist clinics and operations in women's health. I graduated from Imperial College back in 2003, so I've been a doctor for 21 years, and indeed undertook a period of research in ovarian cysts and ovarian cancer, in which I was awarded the research prize for back in the day. So that gave me a very good understanding of the importance of securing funding, writing leaflets, a lot of the skills now actually, not only that I use in clinical practice, but within the business sector as well. So that was a very good grounding. I also have a massive passion for education and teaching, both for healthcare professionals, but also for the general population, the public. Previously was an associate clinical dean for King's College Medical School, which again gave me an insight into not just teaching, but also the importance of assessment and good communication. And so generally speaking, when I'm looking at delivering care for patients, I aim to provide a patient-centered approach. And really, we're aiming to destigmatize all things around women's health, be it about periods or about pregnancy, menopause, so that people can talk about them like any other part of their body. That is the aim. And so that's when I actually started Herhealthcare. So I find it incredibly rewarding to deliver healthcare on a one-to-one basis. I set up my company to do that back in 2019, became an accredited coach and mentor for others, and set up my service so that I could treat the person, not the patient, because I think it's really important to respond to individuals' needs, be that holistically as well as the medical side of things. So when you're in a medical school, you're very much taught about medication, operations, but actually there's so much more to people's problems and issues than just going down that route. Of course, we specialize in those areas, but thinking about diet, sleep, lifestyle, stress, those are all factors that are just as important in prevention as well as cure. And so that's really what I took forward. I have published and presented internationally. As I said, I do teach professionals and provide coaching within careers. And it was just during the pandemic that I realized that there is a niche area where, although I'm able to do a lot of teaching in the hospital setting to GPs, to junior doctors, nurses, etc., there was a gap in the market. And I was seeing patients who were coming out of COVID and who hadn't got the information that probably would have benefited them 6 to 12 months in advance of seeing me. And that's when I actually thought, hang on, if I could actually get into the community and provide education workshops and seminars about general health, well-being, what to expect going through the menopause, for example, then actually I might be able to prevent some of the problems that patients are facing, or in fact, make sure that they come and present to GPs early, so that if they need to get help, they can do that sooner rather than later. And that's when I developed a separate arm of Herhealthcare, really to look at community contributions. So I was volunteering at the time anyway for a local healthcare centre, and I developed that further to look at providing seminars and workshops, not just purely for women, although there are lots of specialist seminars for women, but for adults in general. I secured some contracts with Westminster Adult Education Service and most recently with Greenwich Communities to help deliver this work. So let's just unpack that a little bit further in terms of what I'm able to offer. So some of the subject matters that I'm able to provide support and guidance on include quite an interactive session on eating well on a budget, which is always really popular, especially at this time of year. But actually, I would argue leading up to Christmas is just as important. A really big one is mental health and well-being, and that is obviously something that affects everyone potentially, but more specifically, given my background, postnatal health is something that I'm often asked to present on in nurseries. Being a parent, massive change. And also going back to the workplace and people who have occupational hazards, who are finding it difficult to get back into work or stay in work. That's also a massive area of support that we're able to provide either in seminars, in a group setting, or in a one-to-one setting. There's a lot of resilience training that I've done for healthcare professionals, and actually looking at that importance myself, having had career difficulties a few years back and going through COVID as a healthcare professional with healthcare problems, has given me a lot of insight and experience in being able to advise and support others who are going through difficult times during their career. So those are other subject matters which I'm able to provide, either for corporates, local charities, the communities. Those are all some of the groups who've approached me and who I've delivered successfully time and time again. So I am a women's health specialist, so naturally I do have a slight bias to some of the seminars which I'm asked to present on and to lead, and that ranges from abnormal smears, colposcopy. This month, January, is Cervical Screening Awareness Month, so I've been asked to do some work around that, for example, but also other really common topics which we need to raise the profile of and destigmatize. So vulval itching, fibroids, endometriosis, which on average takes 8 years to diagnose because people don't know the symptoms. And that ranges from patients right through to GP as well. So making sure that women know what to look out for in their late teens, early 20s, vaginal disorders, contraception, the whole range of pregnancy, how to manage when you become a new parent. The menopause, that's a really popular one, time and time again. And as I said earlier, getting back to work after having a baby. Those are probably the most common ones that I'm approached to deliver. And in terms of the format, again, that is tailored towards the audience. That can be as short as a lunchtime session virtually, or it can be a full-blown half-day workshop on an area with a holistic approach. So, for example, with the menopause, we do look at nutrition, we do look at occupational support that is available for women, as well as looking at case studies, symptoms, potential management options. So those are all the different types of things that we're looking within a session itself. And so I mentioned publications. These are some of the publications that I've been able to produce over the last few years. So it's not just health professional specialist advice that I'm now able to give. It is to those who attend seminars. So, for example, talking about health after having a baby, that's something that we give to anyone who attends. And the Eating Well on a Budget was something that was picked up by the Westminster bulletin. There's a bulletin that they provide residents locally. So that's something that they picked up on. And in fact, they've run it again last month, which is very good news. Feedback, as you can see from sessions, we do always collect feedback because it gives us so much rich information on what else to include, what was useful about the session, and what we could do in the future. So that's been really useful to get. And we do collate and go through that. So I'm going to stop there. I know it's quite a short synopsis, but hopefully it's given you an insight into some of the work that I do. There are two spokes to what I'm doing. As you can see, I am here in clinic delivering one-to-one hospital care at the moment, but we are now looking at branching out and delivering more of the community health education and seminars, because it is a really practical, hands-on approach, which people have said has changed the way they do things, the amount of salt they eat, the types of sleep habit and hygiene that they take on board. And just to remind you that the aim is really to destigmatize everything related to women's health. So it's no longer seen as an embarrassing problem. I want women to be able to approach doctors about women's health in the same way as you would do with a sore throat. So I'm going to stop there. I hope that's been helpful. Happy to take questions, and I'll stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shree. Health and wellbeing, definitely a very essential topic. And moving on to our final speaker. So we have Rachel Barham from the FSB, which is the Federation of Small Businesses. So Rachel will talk to you about the FSB and its member benefits. So over to you, Rachel. Oh, Rachel, you're muted.
There we go. I'm normally unmuted in time. Clearly not this time. So schoolboy error there. Right, I'm going to come at it from a slightly different angle. So I'm going to talk about FSB. So as Sybil said, my name's Rachel Barham. I'm what's classed as an independent membership advisor with the Federation of Small Businesses. So I talk to small businesses like yourselves to understand more about what you do, and then I will pick out the relevant benefits to you, because with FSB membership you get everything, but not everything will be relevant, and it is a minefield because there is a lot to it. For those of you that don't know who FSB is, we're actually a not-for-profit campaigning group. We're the UK's largest, and we have probably about 160, 170,000 members, of which we actually represent about 1 million small businesses in the UK. And we are literally speaking with government day in, day out, whether that's locally or nationally, to make sure that they are thinking about small businesses when they roll out new legislations and make changes. So all of you will be, I suppose, within benefits of what we have done already, but you just won't always know it's us that's influenced them, because sometimes it's all behind the scenes. You don't always get to hear about it. But for members, we provide a package of benefits. So I thought it was actually easier to show you as a member what you would get, because it's something that you wouldn't see. Now, all of you can go onto the FSB website whenever you want. My one request, please do not join via the website, because that's actually what my business does. But also, if you do join via the website, you've got to figure it out yourself. And being so much information and being a minefield, it can be really confusing. So always come and speak to me, and then I can get you joined up. I can show you, I can set you up, and I'm there afterwards as well, because obviously that's the thing. A year down the line, you potentially forget what you've been told. As a member, you have a portal. Now, on the FSB website, there is absolutely loads of information. So you don't need to know that bit. But it has all the different benefits. So if we look at most businesses at some point, you need insurance. You're going to need legal advice. There's going to be documents that you need. Unfortunately, in business, things do go wrong. You might need protection as well, whether that's legal protection, you might have employees and you've got someone threatening to take you to tribunal, or it could be the HMRC's turning up at the door. You just don't know. And it doesn't matter in business how good your business is, how on point you are with everything. Things do go wrong, and the unexpected happens. So we're there to support you with that sort of thing as well, and provide you some insurances within the membership. I'm sure many of you have noticed a lot of the business bank accounts charge you. FSB's got options there to offer you free business banking for as long as you're an FSB member, but also there's a number of accounts where you can actually make money on your business bank account, which is very, very rare. There's also options to look at business loans, commercial mortgages, and actually understand what your credit rating is as a business, because many small businesses aren't offered credit by maybe their suppliers, and you just kind of carry on and you're in that wheel and you just don't think about it. But actually it's because your suppliers are looking at your credit rating and maybe it's not as good as you thought it was, and that's why they're not offering you credit facilities. But literally the list goes on and on. There are lots of free benefits where you literally tap into it as and when you need it. There's some where you would pay. So for example, FSB insurance, you get all the advice and support for free. We'll even help you if you don't take your insurances out with us, but of course you've got to pay for your physical insurance. We're not going to do that bit for you. But as you can see, the list, it's just ongoing, and a lot of them have got additional benefits in the background. As an FSB member, you can also use the FSB member logo on your websites, your social media, your marketing, you name it. You can put it wherever you want. You're a member, we give you access to that as well. For those of you that have got offices, you can even put a certificate up, because obviously some people have lots of certificates lined up on their walls. That's there for you as well. But I'm going to show you the resource library. So as a member, we give you free business legal advice. Now, can you see, has it gone onto a page that says contracts and trading? So, yeah, perfect. Right. just got to get it moving. Now, this is part of what's called the Legal Hub. Now, in the Legal Hub, you would have access to about 1,500 documents. Approximately 1,000 of them are templates, and then 500 roughly are fact sheets and guides. So there is absolutely loads of information in here, hence why sometimes it's a little bit slow, especially on Zoom. But they're all broken down. They make it really easy for you to find what you're looking for. So contracts and trading was one that I was in already, but there's things like debt recovery, because lots of businesses invoice. There's always the risk that someone's not going to pay you. Or it could be that you use cards. We can help you out with that service as well if you're taking payment up front. Data protection and GDPR is a big thing because it is a minefield. So trying to get to grips with knowing exactly what you should and shouldn't do. And I think probably the biggest one at the minute is obviously employment. Again, there's a lot of changes coming through. A lot of businesses will find themselves in law. They're not on top of everything. So there's all of those sorts of documents, but you've got the use of the legal helpline to give you the advice that you need. And then you've got the documents to back it up as well. As you can see, there's absolutely loads. And all of them will break it down slightly further to help you find what you're looking for. But if you can't, or you don't actually know maybe what type of contract you need, you can call the legal helpline. They'll send you the link through so that you're using the right document. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing and actually show you a document, but I have to do it this way for annoyingly, because it doesn't do it otherwise. So bear with me. And I will show you one of the documents. So with the documents, it's a template, it's generic, but it's written by solicitors. So it's very, very detailed, and it's there to protect you and your customer / client. And what they do is they highlight where you need to fill it in. So in theory, it's simple. Obviously, with legal documents, nothing's ever simple, is it? So they highlight it in yellow, the bits that you need to fill in. And you're able to go through and adapt it for your business. But you can also use the legal helpline if there's areas where maybe you don't understand what you need to be doing. So this is just a service agreement, for example, but you can see it's got all the various different bits that you need to know it's legally binding and you're protecting yourself. We can offer services. It might be that you need something specific drawn up for you. We can do that, but you would get a quote on the portal. We would quote you. It is at a preferential rate. So when we do things for FSB members, everything that we do is either free or at preferential rates. So rates that you wouldn't get if you went directly to an organisation. And just because it's a paid for service doesn't mean you've got to use it. You're not tied into us to use our solicitors. You're not tied in to take your insurances through us. Most people do because they're probably saving money or getting something a little bit different. But at the same time, people have different connections. That's absolutely fine. We also do absolutely loads of networking, masterclasses, webinars to help upskill you in your business because things change all of the time. So we are there to give you all the tools and the advice you need to run a thriving business, but without telling you what to do. Your business is yours. It's up to you how you run it, but we're here just to hopefully protect you, make sure that you are able to do it legally and compliantly, but also answer questions and things as and when you need it. I'll stop there because otherwise I can go into some of the areas which obviously it depends on your business and we don't know, or I don't know what your businesses are. I know there's some FSB members on the call because I recognise the names. But at the same time, it's always worth having a chat with me so that I can understand what your business does and then I can actually talk you through the relevant benefits. If you are already an FSB member, feel free to make contact with me as well, and I can always run through things because I appreciate everybody's joined FSB in a different way. Some have done it online and don't actually know what they've got access to. Some might have joined with another membership advisor. We work differently. I am very much about supporting you all the way through. So I'm always at the end of the phone for when people have joined by myself so that I can actually help you. So if you've forgotten what somebody's told you, I can help you. I can carry on doing that for you. there's always new benefits being added. There's ones around business, there's ones around you and your well-being and health and that sort of thing. There's training to upskill you. So yeah, I'll put my details in the chat, but if anybody's got questions, obviously I know Sybil will come to that after, but hopefully I will connect with you, and I'm on most of the socials. Feel free to connect. Back to you, Sybil.
Thank you so much, Rachel. And thanks to everyone, to all the speakers today. Lots of interesting and useful information there. So we are now opening the floor to any questions. So please feel free to either speak out loud or put your hand up, or the Zoom hand, or put your question into the chat, whichever you feel most comfortable with. So we'll give it a couple of minutes. In the meantime, do you have anything to add, Gary?
Yes, I'd like to echo your thanks to all the speakers that have joined us today. Most of the details have gone into the chat. Dr. Shree, I'm not sure whether you're still here, but if you are, I put your email address, but maybe you should put any other contact details you have. Zana's put them in, and so has Rachel and Sybil. One question I would like to ask while we're waiting for, there's a question for Zana. Any top tips for networking?
Thank you for your question. I'm just a bit worried about the time, so I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. But please follow our LinkedIn page, and every time we have event, we leave time for questions like this. So if not now, if I don't manage to answer now, please use another event to ask the questions. So for the networking, everyone has to think about where the way I see it, where in life they are, what they are trying to achieve, what is the purpose and the vision. If you don't have anything, then again, very similar principle, try to join variety, see what feels the best, and learn technology, learn finance, learn everything, especially for business owners and the board directors. You need to know to a certain point everything in order to make decisions and to follow the right strategy. So for the networking in London, especially in UK, we have really opportunities to go to the events. Majority of them are free. Also a lot of online events. If you're attending like something like this, share your LinkedIn profile, etc. Build up your LinkedIn profile followers, connect with people. But more importantly, the way I see it, if you go to the event, you do need to make an effort to keep in touch with those people. Otherwise, it's just another name on your LinkedIn page. So networking is what they say is a network worth, and there is a reason behind it. But happy to speak on. It's a big subject. We are even thinking of doing the webinar just on the networking. There's some books out there, but I would say what people first, you need to break the ice, start doing it, and there are some helpful tips that I can discuss with you separately about that. But also very important, once you finish that event, is to keep in touch and follow it through. Otherwise it's almost pointless, in all honesty. And again, variety. If you don't know anything about the finance, go and mingle there, learn it, and vice versa, technology, etc. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's a question from Rachel. Is anyone here based in the Greenwich Borough? So if you are, please reply to Rachel and she will reach out to you. Are there any other questions before we close today?
I'd just like to say that this webinar today has been brought to you as part of the Royal Borough of Greenwich's Generative Business Support Programme, which is a business support programme that we've been involved in running. The current programme ends at the end of March, and I think all the places are full now, unfortunately, but it will continue from April this year onwards. I'm not sure whether we will be running it or what the format will be, because that's still got to be decided, but I will let people know, because this is a free support programme. We are running one, if anybody's based in Bexley as well. We are running a support programme in Bexley. We've been given extra places on that one. So if anybody wants to join, please message us. And I'm very grateful today for all the speakers that have been here. They're all very good in their own right, and please contact them about the range of things that have been talked about today. They'll all be glad to field any questions or give you further information about the specialist fields.
Can I add one thing before we go? I know there's a few people that have responded that they are based in Greenwich, which is brilliant. I've sent you all a direct message. Just remember, I don't have your contact details, so you will need to contact me if it's something that you're interested in.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thanks.
And there was a question from Princess Sophie. Do we need to be trained to be a coach and mentor? And I think that question is for Dr. Shree.
Hello. I found it really helpful, actually. I've gone through various different levels of training over my career in medical education. I found the ILM ABM network of mentors and coaches really helpful. They've got so many different resources and teaching sessions. I would recommend it because it gives you a structured approach to both coaching and mentoring. You understand the difference between the two and who would benefit from one versus t'other. And then you can actually apply each of the different approaches that they teach you to the different types of individuals who you may well come across. And you can do that in a group coaching session or in an individual mentoring session. So I think it's a very good idea.
Thank you, Dr. Shree. So I don't see any further questions.
Thank you for inviting me.
You are very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you once again to all the speakers who shared their insights, and also to everyone who attended today. And we hope to see you on the next webinar. So we will be running a webinar on AI for beginners. So if you're on the CMT mailing list, then you will receive information on that. That one will be running on, I think, the 27th of February, if I'm correct, Gary. AI is a big topic at the moment, so definitely one to attend. So we hope to see you on that one. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and we'll see you soon. Have a good day, everybody. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.